Hello everyone, and welcome back to some Lords of the Fallen. One of my favorite things is that long invasions do have a timer, and that is the Scarlet Shadow, or who I like to call the Red Reaper. And they appear when the dread meter, which is indicated by the eye on the top right side of the screen, is fully encompassed. Now, this is when the Scarlet Shadow comes in. Players of any alignment, whether invader, host, or cooperator, can no longer use the Sangranax to heal. However, you can use Heavenly Vials, though they are only limited to one per Crimson Ritual in the current patch. Also, I am testing out the Veil Piercer Spear. It's solid. It is much more akin to a 1v1 because it's a pokey weapon. It has everything is pretty much an attack that's straightforward. So a long sword I think is probably a little bit easier to use in terms of when you have a 2v1, and boy do these guys want me dead and are very aggressive. One of the things that I was chatting with a friend about is that in Lords, because the damage pretty low, it can sometimes be hard to de-aggro two dudes who are trying to jump you, and that because you can't necessarily do enough damage without a grievous strike, in order to get them to push off of you to try and go heal. However, if it was Elden Ring or any of the other Dark Souls games, I probably would have been dead from eating that entire spell to my face. So I guess I win some for there being lower damage. And they're trying to use the lamp to pull me back in to get closer. And basically, the best thing that I can do right now, besides just run, is use spells to try and push some things back. I know if I stop and try to heal, they're gonna jump me, so I am doing my best to parkour, and it is certainly not easy. And I'm going, and that was another thing that I was going to ask is like, in terms of things, because I know the Scarlet Shadow is on the way, and I'm so used to in Elden Ring where sometimes if you just get tapped, you die, that this is like a pretty winnable situation. So, and I just want to hear, especially anyone who's been invading recently in Lords, whether or not it's like, was this a reasonably winnable invasion, or was I doing some absolutely ridiculous stuff that probably would not be reasonable to expect of most invaders. I'm just interested in hearing your thoughts and how that works, because I've been having a ton of fun, and and for anyone who is interested, I absolutely want you to have fun as well. And if there's anything I can do in terms of like build recommendation, um, stat distribution stuff, rune, rune slot recommendations, please let me know, and I can either chat about it in the comments or make a video if it's a more if it's a larger topic, because I think I've said it many times. Fighting two dudes is not easy. In particular, Lords, it is a little bit harder, and especially if you have a build that doesn't necessarily have the spell utility, and if depending on whether or not you run into higher level characters, depending on builds, like if they're both trying to stack smite, it not trivial. But I've been, yeah. So as I said, the Veil Piercer, very very solid 1v1 weapon. In 1v2s, it is I think Rosamund's sword, and in terms of the long swords, is probably a little bit preferred. Um, I'm I need to test halberds out because, as you can see, like that was just a ton of really fast chip. The Veil Piercer does have a little bit of frost buildup, but I haven't seen a lot of it happen with the current setup I have. I have it do extra poise and posture. I think I have it set to do extra poise damage, extra posture damage, and extra grievous strike damage. So basically, I'm not going for the defeating the hosts with the pokes. I am chipping them down, looking for a grievous strike, and using chipping everybody down with spells. And I'm testing out with the 5th spell slot, and like the floating eyeballs, they are in, I guess not the little umbral summon, but the other but like the one that's like the 4. That one's been okay. Damage wise, it's pretty not great. However, it's really funny and good at just like occupying space, and people don't want to walk into it, so it gives me a little bit more breathing room. And as you can see here, like in the 1v1 scenario, the Veil Piercer does much better than the 1v2s, and that I don't, yeah, that I thought that was a true combo. No, that's not. That was it's only in grievous strikes that you can follow up with that particular umbral lump, and it is just a really, really good finisher. But yeah, the 1v1s are so nice, and yeah, and even though it didn't like, it was a really good roll catch there. But yeah, as we jump into the last invasion, just again, if you have, I've been having a good time, and if there's anything that I can do to try and help more people get into PvP and have a good time, let me know, because the more the merrier. And wow, does this block do perfect guard do wonders in terms of posture damage. So thank you all so much for watching, and I hope to catch you in the next video. See ya!